watch YouTube, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have, because I don't know how to put it. It says it's waiting. So
There we go. YouTube says go live. So I think
okay.
we are live.
Excellent.
Yay. All right. Maybe a little bit shaky on the connection, but I think that it will work out just fine. Hello and welcome, everyone, to the Homeschool Teacher Lounge. At long last, we had a Christmas break, and then we came back, and then just I was like, oh wait, we moved so we could see new background. I guess we did have a Teacher's Lounge here at our new location in Idaho, but after that, then Pam was sick, and Pam's still sick. So today I'm joined by Abby Wall. Hello, Abby. You want to introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm Abby Wall, and I know Misty because we were first internet friends, and now we podcast together at School Sisters. I am a mother of 5. My claim to fame is that I had 5 kids in 5.5 years because we threw a set of twins at the end. And yes, it was as chaotic as you might imagine. So I homeschool my kids. Actually, my oldest is about to graduate, and he's doing the college, high school hybrid program through our local community college. So he is doing well, but struggling with some of the commentary that he's having to deal with in a public institution. He thought he was taking a historical poetry class, but he was not. He was learning that he has wrong opinions about everything. So he loves poetry. He may not after this term. We'll see. And I have 1 daughter and 4 sons. And we run sheep, which means we raise livestock. And right now we are in the midst of winter lambing. So we don't have much to do with the day-to-day. It's mostly my in-laws. But on the weekends, we are there to help. So yesterday we were out in the beautiful sunshine, watching baby lambs and moms and feeding and making sure everybody was okay. So it was a good day. So
Nice.
That's me.
Yeah, my oldest son graduated from the community college dual enrollment program, and now my second son is in it, and he signed himself up for a literature class. Which the professor's a good professor, but still, it's not literature. So yeah, he's feeling some of that too. He's like, we're supposed to identify a plot, but it's just 2 people talking, and one's a white person and the other is Asian, and the conflict is just supposed to be because of that fact, like because that is the conflict. There's not even really, anyway, is experiencing a little bit of the world.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
for our younger kids, where I'm the one picking the books and doing the teaching, we are doing ancient literature, and we just finished the Odyssey and moved into the Aeneid. So
Ooh.
we're reading some good stuff.
My daughter is just finishing the Odyssey. Well, she finished listening to Emily Wilson's translation. I let her listen to it because she's taking an online class from Angelina Stanford. And so that was one of the books. And so she's listening to the lectures as well. And it's been a really great, she actually said, it was a really great lecture. And usually she says it's really long and she talks too much. So, but my daughter is not a lover of literature or fairy tales, which is why I had her take this class, is because if anyone can make you appreciate literature and fairy tales and mythology, it is Angelina Stanford. And it has proven to be worth our time and persevering through it. So
nice.
Because she is a hands-on, I would rather know how to do things. I mean, this weekend, she and her dad put in her clutch in her pickup. I mean, she wants to herd sheep for the rest of her life. She does not want to read books. She likes to listen to audiobooks, but she does not. This is not her. My dreams of having children who loved literature, they do, but it's not something that they're like devouring at all days of the week. So it does happen.
And you just had a bunch of puppies born too, right? I think that's your next
Yes,
project.
yes. Yeah. So she's going to be selling those, but they are super cute right now because they're in the fat, fluffy stage just before you get rid of them. They all escaped this morning, though, out of our dog kennel. They had found an exit route, so we had to get them all back in and plug up the holes. So it was it was a fun time. It was a fun time. So yes, puppies are fun, and it's even better when you can sell them and make a tidy little profit, and then you don't have to deal with training puppies. So yes.
Yeah, so our topic this week is homeschooling while moving.
Which I have not moved. So
Yeah.
it's all you.
Yeah, we thought about changing the topic. Pam moved to a new house at least, like 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yep.
They didn't change towns, just houses. And we just recently moved and changed towns. So it was a bit of a bigger, I mean, it's still not super long distance. It's 2.5 hour drive. And we've been back several times to go get more loads. We thought, it'll probably fit just in the giant U-Haul. We already took up several loads fitting in the storage unit. And I mean, the garage is like Mary Poppins' bag. You just keep pulling stuff out and it's always full.
And you're probably asking yourself, why did I pack this on some of the things?
Yes. When we were just barely getting, just reckoning, okay, this is going to happen. We're planning for it. I thought, I'll take some notes and take some pictures while we do it and write some blog posts about moving and whatever. And like, when we were in the middle of it, I was like, no. I'm not going to be able to tell anyone how to move or have any helpful advice other than if you do it quickly and you have your children helping you, just grin and keep moving and be glad for the help and that it's happening fast. Because every other time we've moved a few times. We'd been in our last house for 12 years. We moved a couple times before that, just in town. And those other times, the kids were all little. Either we had no kids or they were all little. And because we had fewer or no kids and they were all little, we had a lot less stuff too. Yeah. And so I packed everything and moved it. It didn't seem like that big of a deal. So for some reason, I just thought it would be like that again. But I mean, we'd been in this house for 12 years, our entire 30s, 2 kids added to the family, several kids. Well, one, became an adult in this house. So there was just lots to deal with. A lot of homeschool shelves that were emptied. I had to recognize, I remember that good intention. I remember collecting that. Oh, yeah, I did think at one point that would be a great idea. And I was like, nope, just gotta. A lot of it went in the garbage because some of it was hand-me-downs from people I knew who were finishing homeschooling when I was starting. So my oldest was, he's 18 now, and we lived there for 12 years. So he was just getting to be school age when we moved into this house. So basically, I collected most of my homeschooling material in this house and haven't really purged much of it. So that was a project, and we moved, but it was more of a fast and furious operation than a organized process.
But it's done.
But it's done.
and you survived. So
Yes. So one thing I did, because we'd already taken off our Christmas break, and so we did take a week off when we moved. But um, at first, when I was planning the move, I thought that maybe we would just take a couple days and not a full week. And I didn't want to lose our current school stuff in the move. I didn't want it just to go randomly into the U-Haul.
yeah.
So we were taking, well, my husband drove a big U-Haul, I drove our van, and my son drove a different vehicle. And so my son's vehicle were all the things that we needed, like, immediately. So we all put a suitcase with a few days worth of clothes in it, our bedding, and our current school bins. So everyone's school bins just went straight into that car, so that at least we were able to just pull out the books that we need right now without any extra sorting or finding, or they didn't get tossed into the garage.
Good. No, that sounds like actually a very
That was
smart choice. And then it's all contained in one area too, that can just be available to you. So that's great.
Yep.
And I'm assuming it was in the smaller vehicle, so it's just the one you can access and get in.
Visible.
Yeah. And nothing else extra in it. Like, no, this is just for these things. That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. You have a hot tip for moving.
Yeah. Well, and Abby is our habits expert, and so she knows that when you move locations, your habits don't move with you.
No, it's like starting from ground zero. Yeah. And I mean, January seems like a great time to start new habits. But then you hit February and you realize that it's actually really hard to do because it's February. If you haven't discovered this in homeschooling, February's tough. So go easy on that. But yeah, I think habits, definitely, it's establishing that morning, how you begin your day and how you end your day are kind of the keystone areas. I've been off on my habits too, just from, we had a long run of sickness in my household. So people got really sick, and my husband was really sick for a couple weeks, and it just threw everything out the window. So sleeping routines, which means wake up routines and all these things. But I finally feel like I'm back to it, and I had a good morning routine. But it is Monday, so Mondays are always a good time to begin again fresh. And it's so great that we have so many Mondays in a year, like 52 of them to get it right. So,
Mondays are like the little January.
Yeah.
And Wednesday's February.
Yeah. That's right. So, start strong and don't try to overdo it, because it's better to be small and consistent than big and inconsistent. So, yeah, that's the thing. So, okay, are we talking about also what we're doing in our homeschools right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the last couple weeks I had kind of when you get your good ideas every once in a while, they happen in homeschooling, and then you just casually share it with somebody, and they're like, actually, that is a good idea. I was like, okay, so it's confirmed now. But there have been books in my life that we have just abandoned. Since I have some kids that have some real reading struggles with dyslexia, I was reading for years, almost all the lessons, and I still read a lot out loud for my kids and things like that. They've really progressed and made a lot of improvements, and so practicing reading every day is something that we do. But years ago, I abandoned this book, which is the Burgess Animal book, which I know I'm not alone in abandoning this book. But since I had to read it aloud to my children, and this one is the more wordy one. I've heard better things about the seashore and flowers and birds, but this is not everyone's favorite. But I didn't know that until I shared this. What I've been having my kids do is I have 3 boys who are reading this, and they are taking turns reading a couple paragraphs or a couple pages, and then as the other one is reading, the other 2 are doing their sketches. I ended up buying the little colorful book plates, and Riverbend Press has them, and they're very reasonable because I don't have the nice color version, and so this way we can find the animal and they can sketch it, and this is part of our nature lore / nature study, and it is working like a dream. Everybody's practicing, everyone's enjoying it, and I don't have to read it. I'm there. I'm watching them. I'm listening to it, sort of, but I am just there as to make sure that they're doing it. But it's going really well, and their reading is getting so much more fluent, and it's just becoming. And then they're kind of narrating and discussing it. So it is. It's a really great thing when you can combine kids and you can pick up abandoned books that are good for your kids to read, and it's just maybe you aren't
Well,
as invested.
plus you're getting extra bonus out of the lessons because having kids read stuff aloud is excellent practice for them. I know when we were doing speech class or a speech club a couple years ago, not so much for the people in our club, but I would go judge tournaments. And there were several times that I was like, I think the speech practice you really need is just practice reading, kind of speaking out loud multiple sentences in a row smoothly, and, tracking with your eyes and having that connect to your mouth. That's a skill in itself that, any kind of kids reading out loud, I think is an easy thing to neglect or forget about doing, but it's really important.
Yeah, and especially when, we have prioritized, I think, silent reading for so
Mhm.
long, right? Like, well, they're reading, so that's good. But it is a really important skill. And for dyslexics, it is even more important, because when you actually have to speak the words out loud and you're hearing them, there is a self-correction, and it's one of the things that all the reading specialists, this is what they say, spend time doing this. So this is a way we get one of our lessons done. I can listen to them read aloud. I can help them on words that they struggle with. We can correct that when we need to, because that is also part of it. And so it's been really good for us to do this. So and it's all together at once, and it doesn't take us that long. It's a short lesson, and my kids love to draw while they listen, so it's working all the things, and it's going well. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's fun.
Yeah. And the other one that we're doing right now, which I highly recommend, is this book. It is called, we're doing this in morning time, Uprooting Anger
Mm.
by Robert D. Jones. And it is biblical, it is scripture based, and it is really good. So, unsurprisingly, some of my people are irritated that we have to read this. They're like, we don't have any problem with anger. And I was like, actually, if you're a human, you have a problem with anger. And this book will tell us how. And it shows biblical examples of Old and New Testaments, and how we need to uproot anger from our lives. So it's been really great having morning time, starting with Bible reading and then uprooting anger. But
Nice.
because there's a lot of things to be angry about
Yes.
if we allow them to be. So yes, it's been a really great book for us to.
That's good. I'll have to look at that one. It is. It's a universal need.
It is, and I need to work on it too. So that's what I told him. I said, well, this is really just for me, and since I love morning time, this is my choice. You can take it or leave it, but we are reading it, and I'm reading it aloud, and this is what we're doing. So I didn't make it about them, but I see some pointed looks from one child to another, like, oh, look at you. And it whenever you read something about a specific sin, I just find that you're it's confirmed really quickly that you have the problem because you're like, I have this problem. And then something happens and someone gets mad at someone else. And then it's like, so we're going to keep reading this because obviously we all need to work on this. So it's been good. I mean, it's tough. It is. Whenever you confront sin, there is always going to be the flesh and the spirit warring against each other. So, yeah.
One of the things that we changed up when we started back up here in new location, new habits, I was making the kids' checklist and realized that we all are doing the Bible reading challenge. Yeah. And I wasn't quite sure always that when things get checked off, they really happened. And I haven't been as consistent as I would like with doing the Bible reading challenge. So we've been doing that in morning time. And just the Canon Press app has it on audio. So I just hit play, and that's the very first thing we do during morning time is we all just sit and I turn it on, and some of the kids follow along, and one of them braids her doll's hair, and another sometimes is working on friendship bracelets, but we're listening all together, and it then happens all together. So that's been one little change up of the routine that's been working really well for us.
That's great. Yep. I've been listening to it in the app as well. And that part is free too. Anyone can listen to it. So, yep. It's really great.
Well, our exciting news this week is that Scholé Sisters is back on. It's coming back.
In your ears.
This Friday, our next season begins and opens up with episode 100. So that's exciting. It only took us 4.5 years to get to 100 episodes, but that's because we are
after high quality.
That's right. Quality, not quantity with Scholé Sisters. So be watching in your podcast app for episode 100 coming out this Friday. And it's a conversation with myself and Brandy and Abby and Pam also about the top books mentioned in the last 99 episodes. So it was a very fun episode to record, and I think it'll be a fun conversation to listen to. Yes. And as a reminder, Homeschool Teacher Lounge here, it is on YouTube, but it is also on the podcast apps. Whatever app you use, you can also just subscribe and listen whenever those come out. And usually they come out just a couple hours after we are live here. So if you like podcasts, we've got a lot of options for you. And we hope to be back next week with Pam again. So thanks, Abby, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Bye, everyone.